Mrs. Walshin says that from missed calls to weeks away without a word, her husband keeps disappearing, and so is her trust. Now she says she's done waiting for him to show up for their marriage. Today on Divorce Court.
Today we have Mrs. Walshin and Mr. Walshin. Am I correct?
Yes.
Mrs. Walshin, Mr. Walshin, welcome to Divorce Court, and thank you for trusting me with your marriage and your relationship. I understand you all have known each other for 35 years. You go back a long time, but you've been together for 10 years, married for 9.5. Mrs. Walshin, you actually have 2 children outside of your relationship, and you have a dog together named Coco.
Yes.
All right, so now I see where the families are blended, if you will. Mrs. Walshin, why are we in divorce court?
Well, first of all, Your Honor, I just want to say thank you for giving us your time and for seeing this through. I trust you. And
What
I'm
a nice
here.
thing to say. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. And I just don't want to be his Holy Spirit anymore. Yeah.
I see a little bit of pain on your face.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because for the first time, and I have sat in this courtroom for a long time now, I actually have divorce papers in my court papers.
Yes, ma'am, you do.
Because you're serious about this.
Yes.
Mr. Walshin, I rarely see somebody so serious and set. What do you say, sir, to your wife's allegations?
I'm here because I want to make things work. I've been in therapy for the last 3 months, taking accountability. And I think we need counseling, not divorce.
So you're telling me, Mr. Walshin, you admit to and are accountable for the mistakes that you have made in your marriage, but you are trying to make amends. Is that fair?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
So let me see if there is something to mend, I think is the very best way that I can put it. Ms. Walshin, why don't you take me back? Because when I read the papers, it said you all have known each other literally since dirt, 35 years, right?
Well, thank you, ma'am.
Uh-huh.
I wish it was dirt, but
That's
thank you.
like me, exactly. But y'all have been, you've only been together as a couple for 10 years,
Yes, ma'am.
but you've known each other for 35 years. Take me back to when you all met.
Before Jesus, I followed the Grateful Dead, and I saw 350 Grateful Dead shows in a matter of like 6 years.
You were a deadhead?
Oh, yeah.
My goodness.
And so was he.
Okay.
And then we lost touch. I got married somebody different, had kids. And then he actually found me 25 years later on Facebook. And he was honorable. I was a woman of faith. I said, I'm not going to sleep with you till we're married. He honored that. He drove down every weekend for 6 months from LA to San Diego, and he honored that. And then he got a house right down the street from my mom, and we eloped.
Sounds like he's doing all the right things.
He was doing all the right things. And sorry, kids, for eloping. I had to say that.
Because they still mad at you.
They still mad at me. And everything was good in the beginning.
Mr. Walshin, you got Superwoman over here. What was so special about her?
I mean, I loved her, at first sight. She's made me a better person from the start. I wasn't really doing anything with my life. And then came together with her, and then it was just, things were good.
But something started to change. Am I right, Ms. Walshin?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about it.
Well, we have cheating, we have a disappearing act, not really wanting to work, we have a lot of things.
So it sounds like you're ticking it off.
Yeah, a recent red flag, we have a farm, we own it outright, and we financed it, right? And so he lives on that money every month, but I still have a teaching job, but he says that's my money to live on. So we were down to hardly any money left. I said, we're not gonna make it with what we have left in the bank. And my friend was like, you can come move in with me, really sweet. And so every day we get up, I go to teach school, she goes to do her job, and he's laying on the sofa.
Now that's not gonna work for me. I'm gonna tell you
They're
that
not
right
doing
now.
anything. So she was like, can I get y'all some groceries? And I was like, oh, that's really nice of you. I felt so kind. I want to pay her back. So I asked him in the car, can we give her $50? I don't get paid till the end of the month because I'm a teacher. He was like, we don't owe her any money. We don't owe her any money. I didn't ask for those groceries. I was like, we're living there for free. And then the dog pooped on the floor, our mutual family dog. And instead of coming out there to clean it up because I wasn't there, I'll get to it later.
Mr. Walshin, tell me what's happening with you, sir.
I mean, I told her I'm not paying $50 for apples, and I was going to clean up the poop when I felt like it, but it wasn't it was a little bit of poop. It was we have a small little dog, and I was going to do it, and then she just did it. The lady that we're staying
She sat
with.
there for an hour and a half.
This is what.
It didn't sit there for an hour and a half.
But Mr. Walshin, this is when somebody's nice enough to give you a place to stay.
Yeah.
They would not have to ask me to clean up my dog's poop. The dog barely would poop before I would have it cleaned up because I'm grateful for a place to be. and the kindness of someone.
No, I completely understand.
That's why I'm a little confused.
It was one situation in one moment. It wasn't like a constant.
He didn't follow any of the rules.
So, Mr. Walshin, what was happening? I know Mrs. Walshin said she was a teacher.
Yeah.
Or is a teacher, excuse me. What kind of work outside the home do you do?
I was a sales rep, actually, working for a distributor for food and beverages, and I'd been doing that for the last few months, and then
2 months. Only time he's ever had a real job.
Okay.
And then from the time you all have been married now, just under 10 years.
Never a real job. Now, he will say, I paid for most of the bills, but it was like he did me a favor.
So, Mr. Walshin, I think your wife is saying there's never been a time when there was a consistent, I'm working at.
No, but I knew I married a wolf when I got him, Your Honor.
Amazing.
I was trying to make him into a domesticated cat, and it has not been going so good.
Mr. Walshin, is she exaggerating or is she telling the truth?
I mean, to a degree, yeah.
He was supposed to go to Oklahoma to make money, and I was super insecure because I didn't feel very confident in myself at all. I felt really alone and insecure, and he was gone. I even hired a private detective to follow him.
What did you find actually happened while he was up in Oklahoma?
There were 2 women that had been texting back and forth. What's the hotel room number?
She's telling the truth. Because I know you said there have been some mistakes in your marriage, but Mrs. Walshin, what's going on with this disappearing acts? I know that this farm thing has been a thorn in your side.
Well, I moved to the farm, no bathroom, no running water. Okay, living on a farm, and it was a marijuana farm. I mean, we've talked about this before. And I lived there, and so he said, I've got to go to Oregon and make some money. And so the phone calls dwindled and dwindled and dwindled where I couldn't get in touch with him. Now, I'm on a farm where there's bears, there's lions, the mountain lions. There are poachers that come up there. They have guns. I do not. I have Coco's 10 pounds.
Wait, more importantly, it's a marijuana farm.
Yes.
Which means you are a sitting duck for
Yes, and I'm alone. And then he came back. After 3 weeks, it was supposed to be for 3 days.
Mr. Walshin? I don't understand. What was going on?
Well, it was 3 days. I mean, it was going to be 3 days, but things took longer than I expected. And I was communicating with her, but it wasn't maybe up to her.
When you say you were communicating, what does that mean, sir? Does that mean how often?
I was calling probably every day or every other day at least.
And what was supposed to be Mrs. Walshin's responsibility for 3 weeks?
It wasn't 3 weeks. It was about 2. It was probably 2 weeks actually.
Okay,
and
so
there wasn't really much responsibility at that point. She was just being where she was. There wasn't a lot to do.
But suppose she didn't feel comfortable just being there by herself.
It was not safe.
I'm not saying it was the best situation, and I regret that that
I did not feel
situation.
protected or safe.
You weren't protected and you weren't safe. I mean,
know.
so you said that was 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
That's not recent is what you're telling
Not
me.
too recently, no.
But it's just more par for the course. So
She never wants to let go of anything. I mean, she can talk 7-8 years ago all day long till you're blue in the face. But
What happened with this hotel room situation?
there was another time he was supposed to go to Oklahoma to make money, and it was supposed to be for 5 days, okay? And I was super insecure because I just lost my implants. I didn't feel very confident in myself at all. And he left, and I was it was during the whole COVID thing. I felt really alone and insecure, and he was gone. And I could follow him on my app, and I'm like a crazy person looking at my app going, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Well, it's 3 a.m. there. Where is he? What's he doing? Is that kind of place? I even hired a private detective to follow him, and she totally told me some things that happened there, and I have forgiven him. I have talked about those things. When I looked on his phone, finally there were 2 women that had been texting back and forth. What's the hotel room number? Yeah, what's your hotel room number? So I found it on his phone. I was and the private detective told me that he saw him in the casino with women, and his excuse was he works with them.
Mr. Walshin, you were supposed to be working there. Tell me.
I was working. Actually, that was an assistant to the guy that I was working with. Was trying to
Doing
setting
what?
up in a meeting for us at the hotel, so she needed to know where I was.
Mm-hmm.
So the boss could come and meet
That's
me.
not true.
But why would they be at the casino with you?
So yeah, I was at the casino all night because I was staying in a hotel
There
room.
were other places that you were out at 3 a.m.
I can understand why Mrs. Walshin is concerned. At least it would make me suspicious.
We haven't slept together in 2 years.
We have grown apart. In a lot of
That's
ways.
not true. It's been our whole marriage. Even on our wedding night, we weren't together. And I waited. I was celibate for 7 years.
I'm not saying that anything has happened. It would make me suspicious, and that has led you to true suspicions of cheating. Am I correct?
First
Your Honor,
statement,
we
this
haven't
do
slept
not
together
know.
like in like 2 years.
There's no reason.
And like, I just want him to pay attention to me.
You're a beautiful lady.
Then
Mr. Walshin, do you want this marriage? Because I don't believe you staying in a marriage if your needs have changed and you don't want to be there. But if you want this marriage, what's going on while there's no intimacy? And it seems as if you're almost treating her like her feelings don't matter.
In a lot of ways, we have grown apart in a lot of ways.
That's not true. It's been our whole marriage. Even on our wedding night, we weren't together. And I waited and I waited. I was celibate for 7 years before we got married. I waited till our wedding night and we weren't together.
Is there something that I need to know? Is there, because I'm looking at a beautiful lady.
Yeah. I'm not sure, that's why I'm, been getting some counseling to figure out what is going on, inside.
Because Mr. Walshin, actually, I did some research and I understand it wasn't just a matter of her suspecting that you were cheating. Cheating went throughout your relationship, if I'm not mistaken, Mrs. Walshin.
I found dating profiles. I found a lot of dating profiles.
When you say a lot of dating profiles, what does that mean?
Like 15, 5, 15, a lot. And I made excuses for him, like, you know what? Like, he's
Of not doing it.
I know.
Because you can show me much better than you can tell me.
I know.
So has that happened in your relationship?
So he came and he told me all the different women that he was sort of with.
What does sort of with mean?
Like maybe going to a massage parlor, like 4 or 5 a year. For
So
10
you're
years.
talking about like happy endings type situations?
I don't know. I can't speak to that. I don't know. I don't want to say that. I don't know.
Mr. Walshin, I'm asking a question.
On a few occasions, I'm not going to say no. Yeah, on a few occasions. But as far as other women and being with other women, no, not at all.
So I went back because he told me the truth. He brought me flowers. He was in a group. And then when I got home, it was the same.
Mrs. Walshin, I have in my notes that there was a confession of having had some sort of sexual relationship with up to 40 women. Is that incorrect?
That is ridiculous.
That's what I have in my notes.
Ridiculous.
Well, he said it was 3 or 4 women a year and we've been married 10 years.
I've never been with. That's not true. You're talking massages or having extramarital affairs.
I mean, isn't that the same thing? If nobody's touching you besides your wife?
Well, Mr. Walshin, only you know if,
I've been with 40 women outside of my marriage, not even close to anywhere.
So that's one of the reasons why I know Mrs. Walshin was concerned, because she actually petitioned the court for a polygraph examination and you refused.
I know the truth, but
Not for nothing.
listen, I see what God sees in my husband, and I know that sounds silly.
No, it doesn't sound silly.
As a Christian woman, we walk a different path sometimes, and we put up with a whole lot more malarkey than we should sometimes.
No, actually, God does not want you to put up with anything. That's not the God that I serve. I don't know who you're talking about.
I know.
And you need to stop watching the television shows that tell you that. There's nothing like that. My grandmother once told me, what God has joined together, let no man put asunder, but God don't join everybody together.
That's what my mom said.
Okay? You have every answer that you needed when you walked in this door. Mr. Walshin is about Mr. Walshin. Bless your heart. You might be a nice enough man, but you're not a nice enough man for this lady. It's been 2 years that you all have not been able to connect intimately. That usually says that you're not connected. Why are you in this? Why are you here?
I'm here, Your Honor, because I think I'm finally done.
You need to not think you're finally done. You need to care about yourself enough to get up off the floor. Stop being a doormat. Stand up and bars.
I just feel like
Worried about marijuana farms and wondering what mountain lion is coming down. That sounds so stupid. Let this lady go, Miss Walshin. You're not trying to be a husband. Come on now. You and I both know that. You're not trying to be a husband. I mean, she's a nice lady, but that's not what you're trying to do. So if you like her at all, tell her the truth. Just, I mean, seriously, just tell the truth. Do you want these papers served?
yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
I see that you have signed the papers.
कार में
I will
बिठाकर
make sure
नजदीकी पशु
that these
अस्पताल में
papers
ले
are
गया।
served. I cannot tell you that Mr.
डॉक्टरों
Walshin
ने बिल्ली
will
को
sign them,
देखते
but I
ही
guarantee you you'll
कहा
get a
कि स्थिति
transcript
गंभीर है, उसके
that
शरीर में कई
says
जगह चोट
they
लगी
have been
थी,
served. Fair enough?
हंसलियां टूट चुकी थी
Mrs.
और
Walshin, I'm just
संबंधी
going to say
नुकसान
this
भी
to you.
था।
This marriage has been tested
डॉक्टरों
by
ने पूछा
betrayal,
क्या हम
poor
पूरी
decisions, and
कोशिश
a
करें
lack
उसे
of
बचाने की।
trust.
सारा ने उसके
I even wrote a
पति
book about it, Your
की
Honor, and I
आंखों में
wrote it
आंसू थे।
halfway
उन्होंने
through
कहा
being
जो
married to him.
Got news for you.
करना
I
पड़े
have a
उसे
great
करो और उसे
ending.
बचा
I need to read
लीजिए।
my own book.
Would you
इसके
like me
बाद
to tell
शुरू
you what
हुई
it should
5
say?
घंटे
What
की
should it
लंबी
say?
Take your
सर्जरी।
pictures and your
फिर
plants
बिल्ली को
and get
आईसीयू
out
में
of my
रखा
life.
गया। 4 दिन तक
That's
घर में
it.
सारा किसी काम पर नहीं गई।
You've been served.
वीडियो अच्छी लगी हो तो वीडियो को लाइक से सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलें।